Hey guys, welcome to Homework Help for Year 6, Term 1, Week 8. On page 6 we have these pattern questions. Question 1 is we have to find the pattern, so just draw a line underneath it and say how do we get from 9 to 36? You can either plus a certain number or times. And because the number is going up pretty fast from 9 to 3600, it's more likely to be a multiplication. So 9 to 36 we times it by 4, and from 36 to 108 we times it by 3, and then we times it by 2, so the next must be we times it by 1, which means we stay at 216. Next one is, it looks like we got 17, 18, 19 and 20, whereas the other second number is going up by 7, right? It's going to be add 7 and then add 7 and then must be add 7. So you tell me what that next one is. Okay, question 3. You got, it looks like it's going up because 1/8 is smaller than 1/4 and 1 is smaller than 2. So it's going up. Now it looks to me like I could double this and get the next number. Because if you have 1/8 and you double it and you times it by 2, right? You're gonna get 2/8, which equals to 1/4, and that's the next one there. And same thing for this one. If I double the 1, I'll get a 2. So it looks like a double. So if I double 1/4, I will get what? So 1/4. I double it, times it by 2/1. I'll get 2/4, and that gives me 1/2. So this should be a half. So I'll put a half in here. Okay, and you can imagine if I double a half, I'll get 1. So it's just doubling. Alright, next one, question 3. It looks like I'm going down, and I'm going down pretty fast from that to all the way to here, from 1 to over 360. So it's probably, so when we go down, we either divide or subtract. But it's going down fast, so we probably divide. Okay, so let me see. How do I go from 2 to 1? I have to divide it by 2. How do I go from 1 to 1/3? I divide it by 3. If you take 1 and divide it by 3, you get 1/3. And then how do I go from 1/3 to 1/12? Well, 1/3. If I divide it by 4, what's going to happen? It means that I've got 1/3 times it by 1/4, which gives me 1/12, which is exactly what happened here. So divided by 4, so the next one must be divided by 5. Okay, so you take 1/12, you divide it by 5, which is 5/1, and that means 1/12 times it by 1/5, so that gives us 1/60. Okay, so the answer here must be 1/60. And then you can imagine that 1/60 up to divided by 5, you must divide it by 6. So you divide it by 6/1, which is 1/60, times it by 1/6, which equals to 1/360, which is the answer there. So it just, you're dividing it by a higher number each time. Next one, you have, let me see. The bottom number seems to be, I'm either adding or multiplying, but it's going up fast, okay? So it's probably multiplying, so you times it by 2, times it by 2, times it by 2, which gives us 16, and then times it by 2, which gives me 32, which is correct. Now the top number, it looks like we can't times, because if you multiply, let me see, if you multiply 3 by the next number, that's not a, so 3 times, you can't times it by 1, otherwise it'd be a 3 again. And if you multiply by 1, it's not going to go up. So you would multiply by 2, right? And that should give us a 6. It's not a 6, so it's probably addition instead. So 3 plus what gives me 5? It's going to be add with 2. And then this will be add with 4. Okay, so we can see already a pattern here. So I'll just rewrite that again. Now the next one could be either add a 6 and then add an 8. like that. Could be the pattern like this, or it could be the pattern of add 2, add 4, add 8, and then add 16. So which one is it? Let me tell you what these pattern. This one is just gone up by 2. Add 2, add 4, add 6, add 8. It's just so from that number to this number, just adding 2, right? Adding 2, and so on. Now for the top one, so this one just means I just add 2 to get to the next number. This one, I'm going 2, and then 4, and 8, and then 16. I'm doubling it. Okay, so from 2 to 4, I double it. So from 4 to 8, I double that as well. So I just double 8 and I get 16 and so on. Okay, so we have to see which pattern is the correct pattern. Alright, so is it adding 2 or is it timing 2? If I add 4, so let's see, got 3, 5, 9. If I add another 6, whoops. If I add 6, that'll be 15. And then if I add 8 to 15, I will get 23, which is not correct because it's 33. So adding by 2, it's not going to work. So that means this pattern is not correct. So we can add, instead we add 2. So we add 2. We add 4. We're going to add 8 instead now. Add 8, 9 plus 8 is 17. And then 17 add 16. And that should give us 33, which is correct. So therefore, the top number should be 17. So we have 17 over, this one should be 16. There you go. Question 6. I can tell this is already cube numbers. Okay, so this is 2 to the power of 3, which is 2 cubed. This is 3 to the power of 3, 4 to the power of 3. So the next one should be 5 to the power of 3. Now 5 to the power of 3 means 5 times 5 times 5, which equals to 125. So therefore this bottom number should be 125. Now the top number, let's see what's happening here. It's going up fast, so maybe it's times. So this will be times 4. From 1 to 4 we must multiply by 4, and then from 4 to 12 I must multiply by 3. So I assume this next one must be multiplied by 2. So you get 24. Okay, next one is, okay. They all have a denominator of 6. Well, not all of them, but most of them. So maybe if I make all of them into denominator of 6. So a half could be written as 3 over 6. We have some number here. We have 5 over 6. 1 can be written as 6 over 6, and 1 and 1/6 could be, this is a mixed numeral, change it to improper fraction, you get 7 over 6, and you can clearly see what the pattern is already, so you can figure out what that one is. Alright, next one, question 8. You have the pattern of 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then it goes. So we have 1 lots of 1, 2 lots of 2, and 3 lots of 3. Now we have 2 lots of 1, and then 3 lots of 2, and then 4 lots of 3. Okay, so now it's just going like this. So we start with 1, 1, and then we got 2, 1. So this one has to be 3 lots of 1. So the next number must be a 1. Next one we have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2. And then it stops there. So this is, and then it starts, and then it goes to 1 again. So that means this is the pattern there. So again, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, and then it stops there. So there's another pattern. And then we have 1, 2, 2. This next number must be a 3 according to the pattern. It goes 1, 2, 2, 3. So that should be a 3. All right. Next one is you have 1. So every second number is a 1, so this must be a 1. We don't really care about, he just goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. Next page. Find the sum of these numbers. Now remember the 4 steps to find the sum of the numbers. Okay, so the pattern, it has to have a pattern here. So these all have pattern. This is going up by 3. Okay. So to find a pattern, the 4 steps are: 1, find how many numbers we have. Numbers in the pattern. Okay. And 2, half that number. 3, add first and last number. And step 4, multiply the results from step let me just write a bit. Step 2 and step 3. Okay, so let's use these 4 steps to answer this question. We don't actually, now it looks to me like the pattern goes from 0 to 30, right? But we never care about the 0. 0 just doesn't actually do anything. It's like me saying 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus all the way to 100, and we always do the 4 steps, right? I could have put a 0 here if I wanted to, but do we use it? No, we never actually care. Even though it's there, it's invisible, but we never use it. Over here, they put the 0 in there to try and trick you, to try and make you add the first and the last incorrectly. The 0 is there, but we never actually use it. Even here, it's already, even for this question, it already has a 0 there, but they never write it. Okay, so just ignore the 0. So all we do is we just look at from 3 onwards, from 3 to 30. Okay, so from 3 to 30, so step 1 is find how many numbers there are. How many numbers are from 3 to 30? Well, 3 to 30, and they're all multiples of 3, so there are 10 multiples of 3 from 3 to 30. So step 1 is we have 10. Step 2 is we half that number. Well, for half of 10, 10 divided by 2 equals to 5. Step 3, add the first and last. First is 3, and the last is 30. Actually, let me just change these colors. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Alright. So we got that be 30 plus 3 is 33. And then step 4, we multiply the results from step 2 and step 3. We multiply these two numbers. So we got 5 times 33, and you can get the results, and you get the answer there. Okay, so our answer for question 11 is just you work out what 5 times 33 is and get the answer. Question 12, you got 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. There's 5 lots of 5. This is 5 times 5. Then you got 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. So you're going to add with 4 lots of 4, and you can kind of see the pattern. The next one is going to be 3 lots of 3, 2 lots of 2, 1 lots of 1. So this is 25. This is 16. This is 9. This is 4. This is 1. And we have to add them all up. So once you add them all up, you will get the answer. Question 13. We know that 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 6 is 21. Alright. So here you have, I'm going to break these numbers down into 20 plus 1. 20 plus 2. 20 plus 3. Okay. So let's break it down like this for all of them. So let's look at, ignore the units, just look at this is 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 40. You can like think of it that way, okay? Plus 40 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50, and then we're going to add with the plus with a 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, and then we're going to add a 1 plus 2 again plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, and we know that 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way to 6 is going to give you 21. So these numbers here will give me 21. And these numbers here will give me another 21. So that's 21 plus 21. That gives us 42, isn't it? So all the unit numbers will give us 42. So if I can just write that, that means that all of this, the digits, they'll give us 42. Now let's look at the tens. I broke them this addition up to just the tens and the ones. Okay, so we got 20. So 20. There's 3 lots of 20s, 3 lots of 30s, 3 lots of 40s, and 3 lots of 50s. Okay, so you can think about a quick method like this. You got 20 times. Actually, let me write this in red. So you can think about it like this. You got 20 times 3. There's 3 lots of 20s. Plus, there's 30 times 3 plus 40 times 3, and then plus 50 times 3, right? 3 lots of 20 plus 3 lots of 30s plus 3 lots of 4 plus 3. Now, if you look at this, you're like, hey, wait a minute, this looks familiar. We've done the quick method in the past many times, and you can see that when you do this addition, this kind of mathematics, you have to do BODMAS, which means we have to multiply first, right? And you notice that in the multiply, they're all multiplying by 3, right? So I'm going to circle all the 3's, and all we got to do is just do 20. I'm just going to write over top here, 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50. And then after we add them all up, then we can multiply that by 3. That's the quick method. So 20 plus 30, that's 50. 50 plus 50 is 100. 100 plus 40 is 140. And we just do that 140 times 3, which gives us 420. So now all of the tens add together will give you 420. I just did it using the quick method. Okay, and all the units add up to 42. So if you add them together, you're going to get 462. There you go. $462. All right. Question. This one is the multiple choice here. So we bought 4.02 meters of timber, but we only need a third of it. How much remains? So you just have to do 4.02 divided by 3. You're gonna cut up in thirds, and they say that you only needed 1/3. So let's find out how much 1/3 is first. So we divide it by 3. We're gonna get 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract. You're gonna get a 1. Bring the next number down. 10. 10 divided by 3 would be 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, you get a 1, bring down a 2, you get 12 divided by 3 will be a 4. And decimal place has to be here. Because a number like 4 divided by 3 should give you about 1 point something. Okay, we can't put the decimal place here because that will imply that the answer is 13, which doesn't make any sense. So the answer should be 1.34. So, I'm going to write this out. Now it says that we have 4. The whole thing was 4.02 meters, and we used 1.34. How much do we have left? How much remains? So just do a subtraction and get the answer. Okay, I'll leave that to you. It says my car traveled 8 kilometers in 10 minutes. How long would it take for me to travel 56 kilometers at this rate? Okay, so I can write 8 kilometers in 10 minutes. And now it says if I travel 56 kilometers, how long will it take? How many minutes? Well, let's go from 8 to 56. Can we jump from 8 to 56 easily? Yes. If we know our multiplication tables, we can say, well, 8 times 7 will give you 56. So if you multiply the distance by, if the distance is 7 times longer, then it's going to take you 7 times, sorry, if the distance is 7 times bigger, the time must be 7 times longer. Okay, so we just times it by 7 on both sides, and we can get 70 minutes. And there's the answer there. Question 3. How many multiples of 11 are between 200 and 500? So just take, so how many numbers are from 500, between 200 and 500? Just subtract. Okay. And that'll give you 300. So there are 300 numbers. Okay, we'll just divide it by 11. So take 300 and divide it by 11. So how many 11s in there? Let's see. Just if you divide it by 11, you can put it into a fraction like that. Just think, how many 11s go into there? Well, let's see. How about 10? 10 times 11? That's going to give you 110. Not enough. How about 20 times 11? That'll be what? 220. How about, that's not enough. How about 30 times 11? 30 times 11 is 330. Let me just double check that one actually. 30 times 11, so 30. Yeah, that's right. So that's too much, so it can't be 30. So just try one of these ones. Let's try, I don't know, 28 times 11. So this would be 28, 28. So this would be 8. This would be, no, 308, too much. So try 27. So 27 times 11, and you're going to get 27, 27, that'll be 297. And that's good. 297 is, what's going to be that one? So we need 27 lots of 11s. So that's the answer. Next page. A tank is made in the shape of a rectangular prism measuring 12 by 16 by 10. It is full of water. A rectangular prism. Okay, so we have a tank. It's measuring 12 by 16 by 10 and it's full of water. Now you're going to take another, a small rectangular prism measuring 2 by 3 by 4. Now this one is dropped into this tank, which is full of water. Okay, so this is all water, and you're going to take this block and you're going to put it in there, and it says it's dropped into the full tank. The amount of water which overflows will be how much? Well, when you put in this block, right, the volume, this is let me see, the extra volume from this block is going to be added to the water, and then that's the amount of water that's going to overflow. Okay, so the amount of water that's going to overflow will be equal to the amount that you dropped into the water. Okay, so we have to find the volume of this block that's being put into the water, the small one. So the volume of the small block is equal to 2 times 3 times 4, and that's equal to 24 centimeters cubed. And there's the answer. A shuttle goes from point A to point B and back again. So here's point A, here's point B, so it goes to there and back again in 4 seconds. So it takes one trip. One trip was the return trip, is going to take you 4 seconds. How many complete trips will it take to make 8 minutes? Okay, so here's your, we're going to focus on this, and actually I'll leave that there. Now, if I want to get to 8 minutes, was it 8 minutes? Yeah, 8 minutes. How do we know how many trips it's going to take? So there's a question mark here. All right, so let's turn 8 minutes into seconds, so we know how much to multiply by. 8 minutes it'll be 8 times 60 seconds, isn't it? Alright, now I want to know how much I multiply by this amount here. So what we have here is we have 4 seconds multiplied by something. It's going to give me 8 times 60 seconds. I'm going to leave it like this for now. Alright, so all I got to do is to get this number is to take this divided by this. I'll tell you why we divide. Suppose you've got 2 times something is equal to 6. Similar question to this, similar question to the top one, right? Just deal with different numbers. Okay, different numbers. So how do you get that middle number? this middle number we know is going to be 3, but how do we get 3? Well, to get 3 you must use 2 and 6 somehow. Okay, so 6 divided by 2 will give us 3. Okay, so we take this number and we divide it by this number here, and that's how we do it. So the same thing is happening at the top. We're going to take this number and divide it by this number here. Okay, so I'm going to rub this out and do just that. So alright, so we're going to take 8 times 60. We're going to divide it by, put in a fraction, divided by 4. Now I could rewrite this as 8 times 15 times 4, because this is 60, okay? And I'll just divide it by 4, which means this 4 cancel out and you have 8 times 15. Now 8 times 15, 8 times 10 is 80, 8 times 5 is 40, 80 plus 40 is 120. So therefore, this number must be 120. Actually, I'll put it in black. It might be easier to see. Multiply by 120. Okay, which means that on this side I must also multiply by 120. So multiply it by 120. So one trip multiplied by 120, that means this is 120 trips. So there's your answer. It'll be C. Okay, rub this out. Alright, next one, it says I walk 2 kilometers in the direction of southeast. So let's establish what that looks like. Here's north, never eat soggy wheat. When you walk 2 kilometers southeast, that means you're going, let me see. You're going this way, this direction, 2 kilometers. Okay, so you're there. Now it says, and then 2 kilometers in the direction of southwest. Now southwest is this direction, okay? So you're at the moment here. And you're gonna go southwest. So that means you're gonna go this direction like this. And you're gonna go another 2 kilometers. It says 2 kilometers and 2 kilometers. So this is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so let's have a look here. Alright, so it says, in what direction must I walk in order to return to the point I started? So if you're here, whoopsie, you're here, right? How do you get back to your original location? Well, you must walk this direction, isn't it? Exactly north. Okay, so that's the answer there. Lemons and sold at a rate of 35. Okay, so 35 for 450. So 35 lemons. This will be your lemons column. And this will be your dollars, the cost column. It's going to cost you $4.50 for 35 lemons. Now it says, how many lemons can be bought for $27? So $27. Now, 450 is, okay, it's a decimal. Let's make it into a whole number. Easily, we can do that by multiplying by 2. If I multiply by 2, I'll get $9. Okay. So from here to here, because I'm trying to get from 450 to 27, but I don't know what to multiply by exactly yet. So I'm just trying different things. If I double this, I'll get $9. Okay. That means I times it by 2, which means I must time this side by 2 as well. If I double the cost, I double the amount of lemons I can buy, which be double of 35 will give me 70 lemons. Now, from 9 to 27, I know that I can just triple that, and I will just triple this as well. Okay, so what you do to this one side, you do to the other side. So that means I must triple 70, which gives me 210 lemons, and that's your answer. So for $27, you can buy 210 lemons, which is C. Question 12. One parallel line meets another pair of parallel lines. Which of the following figure could not be formed by these lines? So let's look at a square. Is square made of two parallel lines meeting each other? Sure. You got what? Parallel line there, and you have parallel line there, and you can have a square. Okay. A parallelogram looks like this. Can this be made of parallel lines? Yeah, of course. Okay, two parallel lines. So it's asking, really the question is asking which one of these shapes have the opposite sides be parallel, and we know that square is, parallelogram is. Now let's look at rhombus. A rhombus, are the opposite sides of a rhombus parallel? Yes, they are. The opposite sides of a rhombus are parallel. How about a kite? Kite looks like this. Okay, so this side and this side is not parallel. Neither is the other side. Is this side, and this side is also not parallel. So you can't make this using two pairs of parallel lines. So therefore the kite is the answer, because it says which one could not be made. Alright, next one is number 7. Question 13. It says 7 men. So we got men's again, and days. 7 men, 4 days. How many days would it take for 4 men to paint the same house? So you want to go from 7 to 4. So we can't go from 7 to 4 easily. So let's go from 7 to 1. 7 men to 1 man. So this will be divided by 7, and over here we must times it by 7. We must do the opposite, because this is a different question to most of the questions we do. This is called inverse proportion. Okay, the less people, the longer it's going to take. So the smaller this number is, the bigger this number is. It's the reverse. So when you divide it by 7, you must times it by 7 over here, and you're going to get 28 days. So 4 times 7 is 28. So one person is going to do the job of 7 people. So he's going to have to do 7. It's going to take 7 times longer, which is why we multiply by 7. And that makes sense. Now from 1 to 4, we times it by 4. And if we times it by 4 on that side, what do we do to this side? We must divide it by 4 on this side. It's the reverse. Okay, so 28 divided by 4 is going to give you 7. And therefore the answer, which is not on this page, go to the next page and you can see the answer is there, which is 7 in the B. Next one is a restaurant offers on its menu 3 entrees, 4 mains, and 2 desserts. How many ways can a person order a 3-course meal? Okay, so let's pretend that you have 3 entrees to choose from. So here, from the start, we're going to eat 3 different entrees. So maybe this is, I don't know, chips or something. I'm just going to make it up. Maybe a soup or some spring rolls. And then you're going to have 4 mains. So the mains could be, let's say we have chicken. When we have this kind of question, we can draw a tree of possibilities. Okay, you can see all the possible ways to choose everything, and you can count how many ways a person can choose. The way they eat things. For example, they can do chips, they can go into sandwiches, and then they can do the ice cream or the fruits. Okay, so maybe they want to go fruits. So this is one possible way, one possible path you can take. Another possible path could be chips, and then sandwiches, and then ice cream instead. Okay, so these are all the paths. If you draw it out, it's actually a pretty big tree. Okay, and you can see all the paths, and you can count all the paths and go, alright, there's 1 path, 2 path, 3 path, 4 path. You can do that. That'll take forever. So instead of doing that, here's what we're going to do. You can just multiply it mathematically. Well, there's 3 lots of 4, and each 4 has 2. So 4 lots of 2. Okay, so we do 3 lots of 4 lots of 2. And if you multiply them together, you will get the answer. 3 times 4 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, and if you count everything here, there's going to be 24 possible paths, and that means 24 possible choices you can make. So let me just move this over. So if you look at all that, then you can see that the answer is obviously it's 24. 3 times 4 times 2 is 24. That's the reason why we multiply the numbers together. Alright, next one says trees are planted at the start of a road and spaced 5 meters apart. So here's a tree and you have 5 meters gap distance before we plant another tree. 5 meters, plant another tree. And it says how many trees are needed for a 20-meter road? Well, we're going to take 20 meters and we divide it by the 5-meter gaps. 5 meters, and you're going to get 4. That means you're going to have 4 gaps. If you have 4 gaps, how many trees do you need? Or you can actually just look at the picture and see. If you have 4 gaps, here's gap 1, gap 2, gap 3, gap 4. If you have 4 gaps, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees. Okay. Just remember that the number of gaps, so on a open path, in this case is an open road, the number of trees is equal to whatever the gaps is plus 1. Gaps plus 1. If we have 4 gaps, which we figure out from 20 divided by 5, we just add 1 and we get the number of trees, which equals to 5. Okay, so that's just how it works. And then your answer would be B, and we're done. Okay, that's the last page. Hope that helps.